Good afternoon. This is Interactive Vocabulary, and I'm Kari Dawes. And we are going to be looking at ways in which we can embed vocabulary strategies within our lessons. So you can see that on the screen that we have the bit.ly that's located right at the bottom that will give you access to the resources that we have and help you with links. The first we're going to look at today is Brush Ninja. So you can see here are some examples of Brush Ninja and how they've been incorporated. It's really great because you can create these simple animated GIFs and it's accessible to all students. It's free. You can do it on your mobile devices, your desktop. And so when you click on these, you are able to design, color design, you're able to draw. And right down here is when you're going to add in your slides. Because when you add in slides, you're going to repeat until you can create the GIF. So you can play around with actually the creation component and adding them in right here. You can set it up on a timer. So it will go every 5 seconds, every 3 seconds. And so it'll build and move through. I like to give students like words and they can create them and then they can share them with the class. And the kids can vote on it. They can make it a competition. Who creates the best one? So I was going to give you an opportunity to play around with this, but I would definitely make sure that you go in there and look through the Brush Ninja. You can add backgrounds to it. You can add graphics to it, or the students can actually just draw them themselves. And when you draw themselves, you copy over and over again repeatedly, and each time you would add in a new component to it until when you play it, it will look like this. So I was going to ask you to think about different ways in which you might use it in education. But here are some examples. You can illustrate concepts. Students can show their work, particularly great for using math and the steps that they took to get to a certain area. Different creative writing with stories, animated comics, short cartoons. I did one with chemical reactions versus physical changes. And then we compared them and put them all up on the screen. And the students then had to determine which ones demonstrated chemical change versus physical change. You can turn this into Pictionary where they have to have it on the screen and the students are trying to figure out what word are they describing, or even as charades. This one's a word wall. And this one's great because of the community of the word wall. There's a lot of different ideas that you can use with them, and I'll show you. So you go into the community and you can type in anything that you want. For example, do self-transport, and it'll show all different ways in which the students can use this. You can do it as a game show, just as a sort. You even have these hot air balloons you can use, crossword puzzles. But we can choose one. Let's choose just one. And let's say you really like it and you played around with it, but you don't like the mechanism that they use to demonstrate. You can actually choose your own and change it. What's really great about this is you're able to actually embed it right here in the embed code and copy this and put it into Canvas. So then you can use it right there in Canvas to use for vocabulary. I have this example I pulled from math. So for inequality, helping build that relationship between greater than, less than, equal to, or less than or equal to, with both pictures. Sometimes it's with pictures, with just vocabulary, or with symbols. And then what's wonderful about this is it self-checks. When they can submit their answer, and it'll give check marks or X's to let them know that they got it incorrect. And I like to have that posted on there before they actually maybe do a lesson. They practice that vocabulary, and they must repeat it until it gets like a perfect score. And so then they have to show me their screen, and then I let them go into their next assignment. Yep. They hit submit. So I can show you because I'm not even going to read these. We're just going to pull them over because pretend I'm not a math person because I'm not. Because I know these are not right. So when they're looking through this, and this is a great way for me to have like immediate feedback for them. And it tells them which ones they got right and wrong, but it doesn't tell them where they belong. There's a lot of different ways. They'll have it with lines, they'll have it with sorts. They have a quiz show. They have like almost like a Pac-Man win. They have balloons. They have all kinds of different ways. So now I've decided these are my right answers. So I can submit it and it automatically goes through. Well, I told you I got 2 right. Woohoo! And then it'll give me my score. I got 2 of 19. I can show me my answers and look at them, and then I can show the correct answers, or I can go back and make them redo them again. I like to make sure that they start again and have to redo it, which I'm not going to do. But I think it's a really great way to have that interactive building with vocabulary, and it has all kinds of things in it. Because when you look at the word wallet themselves, the community is endless of different types of components, different things that they have available. You can type in almost anything and there's going to come up with something. That's one of my favorites to work with. And then I'm sure you've seen Quizlet, but one of the things I really do like is the Quizlet Live. So you go into Quizlet, and I mean, it's just flashcards, and you can turn them into you can have them match or you can have them learn. Oh, this thing is so testy. There it is. But what is great about it is you can do the same thing as with embedding as well in this one. So you can embed this back into Canvas. Less areas for them to have to move through, the better. You can do that right down in here, right there. You can embed this, or if you want to use Blooket, you can also export these questions into Blooket. So you can find Quizlets that you like and then put those into Blooket. But one of my favorite things is the Classic Live. So when they go into the live section here, you can decide if you want random teams or just by themselves. And you get to decide if you want the word or if you want the word or the definition, and they have to match them. How it's played is when the students, it won't let us play because we don't have enough people, but they're going to log in through Quizlet.live, and here's their code, and they'll put them into teams. And those teams will get together, and they'll have some of the vocabulary words on their screen, and the vocabulary words on somebody else's screen, and they've got to figure out when it pops up who's matching. And so whatever is the correct answer, if I have it, I click on it, great, I get to move on to the next one. But if I'm wrong, they go back to 0 and they have to start all over again. And it's fun and it's engaging because you'll watch the screen at the top and you'll see the bar moving across for the lazy lions or the jumping hippopotamuses, and whoever, and at the end it pops up who the winner was in their name. So you can match the correct vocabulary with this. I like to I usually make the kids who got it correct sit out and let's play it one more time because the same people are that. Yeah. So it's really a fun way to build in that vocabulary. Sorry, I'm really struggling with the mouse. So it is a great way to have matching. There's the gravity, but the live one is probably my favorite one because it's that quick, immediate feedback that they really like to have, and it's gamified. And there's a match game here you can play around with. And then I've also linked in a video to show how Quizlet Live works, so you can actually see how it works. Flippity has so many uses, and these are just a couple of them. The escape rooms, matching, Wordle, crossword, quiz show. When you click on Flippity, here are all the different ways in which you can create. One of my favorite ones, though, is the escape room. So I can build escape rooms for them, and they have to digitally unlock locks. So they have a demo. You can take a look and see what it really looks like. And they'll have to type in their correct answer, and you can build it in as vocabulary. You can build it in as types of star questions. You could build it in as answering key components of whatever you're working on. And you can even have it built with a clue that's on here. And when you get it correct, it'll turn green. You can have as many locks or as few locks as you'd like. This is another one I thought was great, especially for if you have some struggling students creating these match games. And you can do it with graphing and the inequalities, graphing and the equations. You could do it with anything you want. You can put in graphics, you can put in words. And how you do those, as you play around, you can see there's all kinds. I've used it for bingo. I've used it for like my own personal Wordle of the day. But you go into the instructions. And this is the important part. You have to create the template. And when you create the template, you make a copy of it. And you add whatever you want into it. And then you save. And the big thing is you have to publish it. Because then when you publish it, you'll have access to the link that shows you, and you can give those links to the kids. So here we can make a copy. Online. There we go. So like for my breakout room, these are my clues. These are the answers. And then this would be a little hint if they needed one. And so I create my own and I can erase what's on here. Then I have my options. This is what it's going to look like. And then right here is the most important part, when I'm going to have to publish it and get my link. Once you have your link here, that's when you can give it to the students. And that's pretty much the way all of them work. And you can see that with the instructions. Randomizer, there's this quiz show game. And you look at the instructions and you make your own copy. You add in your information, you publish it, and you get the correct link. The one thing you need to make sure about is everything is correct, because you really can't go back and change it. You'll have to republish it and create a new link. And here's some of the instructions that go with that. And finally, I have Wiser. Wiser is an interactive worksheets that have been created, and it's free. Now, if you have the paid version, you have access to create more things. But just as a regular free person, you can go in and create an account, and you can go in and search. I pulled up some of these already into mine. So here's one on the progressive era, the amendments. And so this is what it looks like for me. But it's not what the students are going to look like. When the students have theirs, it won't have the arrows. It'll look like this, and they'll have to decide for themselves. They'll also can get graphics in here. You can have short answers. You can have all kinds. It's very interactive for the students. It's also very good for basing it around the new star types with the close, with add the fill in the blank, the drop, and then being able to read even like political cartoons and have something to write on. Some of the other ones. I pulled one for English as well. You can go to the dashboard, choose what you want. Thesis and supporting. This one's got ways in which you would writing a thesis statement. And they're all very interactive, colorful. The students seem to really enjoy them. And what's great about them is they grade themselves. Their answers are already put in as the correct answer. And so when you get the grade, you're able to see what it is that they themselves did on it. So when you go into my worksheets, and you click on them, I'm not going to click on because my students are here, but if you click on the assess on the left-hand side, it'll have their name and it'll have their score because this one was worth 10 points. You can also embed this again into Canvas when you find a worksheet that you like. You can go into preview and look at it, or you can hit this assign button. And you can do those little arrows right here and do the embed, or you can just give them a link. And then both ways in which you'll be able to have them interact with it and and have it self-scored. So I had one here. I think this is it's the amendment one. This is what it would look like for you as a student. You have to read through it. These are the primary source documents. And then you'd have to match up using the primary source documents and the images to determine the different amendments. I know with New Star, this is a big one for U.S. history. They push with using those political cartoons, and they had a lot of them on here and how to match them up and read them and differentiate what's going on in the political cartoons. If you wanted to take a moment and look at those, you can link into Wiser and take a look at those for yourself. So today we went through Quizlet and Quizlet Live. Again, you can embed this one. You can do the word wall, which is through the word wall community. And the word wall community, again, you can embed it and it self-checks for them right there with immediate feedback. You have Flippity, which has multitude of uses and being able to make sure you make your own copy and publish it, and then you have your link. Then there's Brush Ninja, the students, this is more creative for them, where they can create specific vocabulary words. And then Wiser, it's the interactive worksheets, so it allows students to be able to interact with vocabulary and pictures and passages to, especially to match up our new STAR type questions. You guys have any questions? All right. So in order to make sure you get attendance, if you are viewing this later on, you'll be able to link in through Strive. And if you are here, you can click here for your attendance and for the survey. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a great day.